Let's talk positioning. And positioning is probably not what you think, but if you aim to be successful, it's definitely something that you need. The most common way of thinking about positioning is where you stand in the market. Chris Do defines it. Positioning is the space your brand occupies in the minds of the customer relative to competitors. Positioning is all about knowing the market. Without knowing the market, you can't really position yourself. Sometimes the most powerful positioning is kind of this fighting mindset. It's competitors go against each other and they create advertising and marketing that's kind of making fun of their competition, and it's how you kind of play with the minds of the customers and you can get a market share, because once again it's branding, it's about how people feel and how you get them to act. This is the basics of positioning. And the easiest way to create a position for yourself is to create tension. And by tension, it's saying that you do this a better way than your competitor, or your weakness is your strength. That's a really common thing to use as your position, because people get this, oh, that's empathetic, or they get this, what a smart move of the marketers. Positioning is kind of like being a smartass in a lot of cases. And it's also about values and what you represent, what you stand for, what you stand against. And I made a whole video about values, you can check it out here. This also proves that branding, it's a mix of a lot of different stuff. It's like they go into each other. The purpose of positioning is reducing or eliminate competition, because if you can market your service in a way that makes your competition irrelevant, you're the only choice left that they have. A really strong question to ask yourself when building a business or an offer is to ask yourself, why you, why now? Your positioning can help with this if you come up with a smart way of answering this question. Why you, why now? Why should people buy from you? Why should they buy now? And if you have a clear reason for them not going to another person or another company, you win, and you actually want to win the trust of your customers. I'm taking me as an example. As a brand strategist, there's a lot of brand strategists who have 20 years of experience and they've worked with all kinds of brands. And when they did that, I was doing something totally different. I was snowboarding, I was working odd jobs, I was partying, traveling. But the thing is that those people who have that 20-year experience, they have also gone into the system. They are blind of new opportunities and new perspectives, because they're so used to the ways everything is made. And I've actually made a video about this in the past. It talks about range and how people with different experiences might come up with more creative and more powerful solutions than those who are the experts. This is why you should really watch out if you trust some industry expert. The problem there is that they don't evolve and advance as fast as technology and the market and all new things that comes up. And this is also why some young people understand the social media game and this market way better than some old marketer who's been in the game for 40 years. That old dog, it's more difficult for him or her to learn these new tricks and all these algorithms, and the psychology stays the same, but all the tactics and all the tools, they're so different that sometimes the fresh people, the fresh brains into a certain industry might be a better solution. And this is about positioning. Even if you're starting out, you can turn that into an advantage. And that's another thing, that you should always look at your weaknesses, okay, and ask yourself, how can you turn these into strengths? And if there's your competitor who has some big strength, ask yourself, how can you turn that into a weakness so you get a better image? And I know it's about tricks, it's about playing, it's about competition, but that's just how it is. And for those who think like, yeah, but that's unethical and that's not right, look at nature. Like, even trees compete with each other. Everybody is competing with each other, and if you don't accept that, then you're always gonna be in the losing slot, you know? That's just the way of nature and how things work, and you have to accept that there needs to be a little bit of tension and competition. Another good example that I heard Seth Godin, this marketing legend, talk about is that positioning is essentially creating boundaries who you work with and who you don't work with. Let's take, for example, there's someone who wants to build a brand about vaping or some other like unhealthy thing, and they come to me. Even if I knew the way I could help them and build them a more powerful and impactful brand, I wouldn't do it, because that's not included in my positioning, my values, because I don't want to support that industry and technology. I could help them by saying, okay, you can go to this other person, I just don't want to work with you. And that's fine. And that's about positioning and values and what you stand for, what you stand against. Positioning is the way you create true fans. And it's about standing out in the market, knowing the market, figuring out, okay, how can I play my cards in a way that I stand out and attract the right people? Because that's the whole point with your brand, to attract the right people that you can transform their lives and help this world become a better place. I have one more example on how positioning and what tools you can use to position yourself in a certain way. And that's by creating scarcity and uniqueness. Make it difficult. You can be a premium product on the market, and you can be really good. That's a positioning move. Your price can be a positioning move. You can be really creative. There's really no rules. And I think positioning is one of the most creative aspects of the whole brand building thing. I hope you got a lot out of this video and you now understand how positioning can really make or break your whole brand and company or your personal brand, because the worst place to be is in the middle. That's like, nobody wants to be there. It's better to be on the bottom or the top, because that's when you know that you're doing something extreme. And usually those who are on the bottom can quickly get to the top. But from the middle, that's really difficult to stand out, and you kind of just become another somebody. And that's not what we aim for, right? My name is Mitch. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, comment what you think of this positioning video. Okay, see you in the next one. Peace out. Stay cool.